It's obviously the Fallen Order. Jedi the Fallen Order. Let me tell you something about Jedi the Fallen Order. Let me go on all of them before I go on my analogies, my soliloquies that I have prepared to go on for you today. Let me talk about this game for like 2 seconds here, right? When I first started to play this game, it was an absolute snooze fest. Cal Kestos moved around like the guy from Quap. It was just like he moved around like a dinosaur, an uncoordinated dinosaur. I mean, he could barely move his arms, his legs. He didn't have a whole lot of abilities. For some weird reason, Respawn decided instead of having your force meter refill automatically, you have to strike people, and people block and people parry on top of parry all the time, which makes absolutely no sense in a combat game because you have to now get through their block and get through their parry, but you don't have a guard
breaker
based ability. Don't talk to me about all the stuff that can help deal damage to the guard blocking thing to deplete people's stamina. There's no way to get past there's no way to get past people if they have their guard up, and then they parry your abilities and stuff like that. It sucks sometimes to play this video game, and it really, really sucks to play the Fallen Order at the beginning of the game. But let me tell you something about the Fallen Order. Once it gets moving, once the story gets moving, once the gameplay gets moving, I mean, it takes off like Usain Bolt in a sprint. It's not even close, ladies and gentlemen. It's not even close. The characters in the game, the plot of the game, Respawn's ability to build games set in universes. This is easily one of the best atmospheric Star Wars games I've ever seen before in my entire life. And there's actual substance to it. Everybody applauded like, woo! Woo! Great job, guys! You made a game in Star Wars and Battlefront 2! It looks and sounds like a Battlefront game. It looks and sounds like a Star Wars game. And there's no substance to it. Here, there's substance to the game being in Star Wars. In the Star Wars universe. It feels like it belongs there. It feels like the characters belong there. When it comes to this game, when it comes to them setting up the stage, the atmosphere, then you talk about the combat. When it gets rolling, it's good. At the beginning, you got to put a lot of hours into the game. I don't know exactly what the phrase is, how to describe it, but how to define it, but I can describe it. And it's simply put, whenever you get into a situation that you don't want to leave, you don't want to, like, it's kind of like when you skateboard and you try and want to land a trick, you try and want to do, a kickflip or an ollie, and you're not getting that trick, you want to try it again, so you just say to yourself, one more try, and you really know it's a lie because you're probably not going to get it on that one last try, on that next try, but you think you can. Same thing applies to video games. It's like, I constantly found myself saying to myself, you know what, one more try, then 4 hours later, I'm like, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I got to get off the video game. I got to stop playing it at some point. I think the story is like 20 hours. I probably spent double as much just trying to get through some of the harder boss battles. The guy on Dathomir, I only did for 8 straight hours spawn, fight him, and then die to him over and over and over and over and over again until there is literally nothing left besides me beating him or me just throwing my PS4 across the room in frustration. But in situations like that, when you say to yourself, I'm going to just try one more time, I'm going to try one more time, there are times where, as a gamer and as, someone, as a person, you kind of just throw your hands up and you resign yourself to the situation. You're like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to give up. I'm quitting. I don't want to play this video game anymore. Because it's too difficult, because it's too hard, because more specifically, it's going to be unrewarding. It's not that it's difficult or it's just unrewarding. In this game, it rewards you by the storytelling, by some of the fights as well. Like, I've never played a game that it looks so much like a Star Wars duel where you can see Cal and the Ninth Sister and the Second Sister and the Sith Lord or whatever, like, you can see their lightsaber battles, and it's like, these are better scenes than in the Star Wars movies, and I'm like, they did a phenomenal job. And the thing is, Respawn, they're on a heater this year. They made Apex Legends at the beginning of this year. Then they made Star Wars The Jedi The Fallen Order to end this year. And it's obvious that they did not have enough time to make this game because there are so many bugs, there's so many glitches, there's so much ridiculous pop-in, I might add, within this game. It feels like they only had a couple of years to work on it. And then you look at some of the things that they take from other games that were made in the last couple of years. Not made, but started really within the past 6 years. You look at Star Wars 1313. You then look at, or not look at because there's no gameplay that's been released. You hear about the Amy Hennig game from Visceral Games. You hear about what that game was going to be about. And then you realize, oh wait, this game is kind of like a jambalaya, a hodgepodge, a Frankenstein monster of all of those games. And in not Visceral, Respawn, they do a great job of just juggling everything like a clown on a unicycle in a circus. They juggle it very, very well. I was very, very surprised at how well I thought. This is a game that's not perfect. It's like the combat is not as good as God of War's. Sorry, it's just not. I mean, there are times where, for instance, with the boss on Dathomir, where he just changed his attack animations, and sometimes I couldn't read his movements because sometimes they would just, his animations would skip frames, and I wouldn't, and he wouldn't be able to telegraph what he was doing because his animations would skip frames, and I would go in for an attack, and then he would just stutter. He would stutter like this. Pretty much this is what he did. He stuttered like this. He stood still, and then I thought, okay, he's open for an attack. Let me go in with my L1 square attack. Let me go in with the double blade attack, right? But then he's frozen. Then he goes into another attack. He goes into a force push. He sometimes flings his lightsabers out. He sometimes goes in and he freaking jumps in, sidetracks. He slashes me. He dashes me. I'm dead. I have to respawn all over again. Other times, the combat was flowing. Again, against the second sister, I think the combat was very, very exceptional. But to see that, obviously Respawn didn't have a lot of time with this video game. Obviously they did not. But to see what they were able to do with this video game, to see what they could potentially do if they had the amount of time that's appropriate for making a AAA budget game like this, and more importantly, to see them do Apex Legends, and to reinvent that game, and then come back to Star Wars, a single-player game, and to make this game what it is. It's easily better than, yes, every other video game on the market right now this year. I mean, name me another game that's as good as this game when it comes to the combat, that makes you want to constantly play this game, that's as good as the story. Yes, the story has some issues. Yes, the gameplay has some issues. But are you willing to overlook those issues and continuously play the game? Because, to be honest with you, there are games that I was like, Rage 2 is a good example. I was like, I ain't playing this shit anymore. I'm done. I'm out. I gave it back to GameStop. I was like, take it. Take my money. I spent $60 on it, and you have the audacity to give me $25? Take it back. I don't want it back. But games like that, games like Rage 2, I was like, I'm out. Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm out. I'm done. The Fallen Order, I'm all in on. I was all in on. I just beat it this morning. I'm all in on it. In fact, after I played the game, I even went back to Apex Legends. So, that is, sorry for my voice crack. I'm a little bit exhausted here. I've been up for the last 10 plus hours. I've not gotten a lot of sleep, to be honest with you. But 2019, it's been an okay year. It's been a good year. It wasn't 2018. I don't think it's going to be 2020, where you have The Last of Us and Cyberpunk 2077 in it, and the PS5. But it's like, who honestly cares? Like, it had some good games. It didn't mess it up. I like this year. Good job. I would have to rate it like I'm not gonna rate a year of video games. That's just weird. But I did like what I saw from some developers, other developers. You need to get your shit together. NBA 2K. I don't know. But that's kind of the video. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. I am absolutely gassed right now. I have no idea when this video will be made or released. Just know if it's during Thanksgiving, if it's during that week, I am taking a proverbial holiday. I spent literally the past couple of weeks trying to play Death Stranding and Star Wars, and it just did not go very well. I mean, when I have to try and beat a boss for 8 straight hours, like, you know it's gonna take a very, very long time for me to do anything else. So, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna chill for the next couple of minutes, maybe for an hour or two, get some stuff done. Then I'll try and edit this video. Until my next video, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.